Oh, hello, hello. You are created by God and loved by your creator. And I just posted a video. In fact, it should be uploading right now. And I'm recording the second one because I'm committed to keeping these short. So hopefully this will only be 15 minutes. Hi, my name is Deb, and I'm recording YouTube videos to capture my story, my randomness, so I can see it and get all of the expression and, range of my voice, and maybe even if I shed tears or if I laugh. Just want to capture all the expression of it so that I could read, write, or speak about it later. What do I want to talk about today? We'll start at gratitude. So I think what I'm just thankful for is being able to pivot quickly. I'm going to go back to the daily bread thing. I'm just noticing that timing and provision are these really two amazing partnerships inside of life and the pace that I'm living it at and the things that I'm experiencing. And I really get the opportunity to be present. I think that's the thing I get with this whole daily bread and time and provision is being present. Today was a little bit unusual given that yesterday's turn of events were really crazy. Guys, I work as a massage therapist and I literally have like 3 jobs right now and 2 opportunities. And I'm in the process of making a decision to terminate one position, to reduce my hours at another and accept a different position, as well as continuing my own practice as a mobile massage therapist. The weekend was really, really hard. I was at a graduation celebration, and some of the interactions were challenging, conversations were hard, environment was really difficult. And I'm just recognizing that as someone who was a 12-stepper, which, by the way, I will be sharing my testimony in a couple of weeks. It's finally drafted and approved and cleared to go. I'm considering sharing it right here on this platform. Not sure yet. But as a 12-stepper and dealing as someone who deals with codependency, environment is the petri dish by which mine gets activated, agitated, or it shows up. So then anything said in that environment that is then filtered through what I believe to be a very toxic or unhealthy environment, and then it just creates all kind of emotional turmoil and chaos. Now, in the last video, I just said I am a highly emotional person. And so as much as I love it about me, when it gets tipped off for the worse, then it becomes a big challenge. I've recently also had another conversation where the discussion of my health and well-being journey came up, and the individual had a lot of questions. And I answered those questions. And to be honest with you, I hear myself saying things that I've said before. It's not that I can't repeat myself, but it's this gnawing feeling that comes back up that keeps like this voice, honestly, in my head that's like, tell your story, tell your whole story, like say all the things. I don't mind telling my story. The thing with telling your story is that you just get to be accountable for sharing your experience. And then the critiques and evaluations of how people see, perceive, feel you said something. The one thing about being more public about myself, as about who I am personally, is to give people opportunity to maybe have access to something they wouldn't have access to otherwise, and to maybe get that there's some opportunity for hope for where they're at in their own journey. I know I didn't get this far and it was easy. So on the chopping block of my existence right now is what I like to call my triple threat: disobedient, willful, and stubborn. And I'm thinking back to the fact that while I've been reading T.D. Jakes' God's Leading Lady, I've also picked up another book by Dr. Lois Evans, Seasons of a Woman's Life. And this season I'm in right now, of be vulnerable, transparent, authentic, tell your story, is one I've been waiting for and even longing for. However, I wasn't sure what my life was going to look like when I got to that point. I had a disappointment with a friend recently, hearing some news. It's it, it it hit me such that I looked at the fact that being someone who manages codependency and dealing with, the hardship and difficulty of relationship, how much and how easily I become attached to my interaction with people. And it goes all the way back, and it's reflected in even my upbringing around church, the Christian community, the religious community. And it just left a really bad taste in my mouth. It just, when I say lackluster is an understatement to describe it. I just really have come to a place where I'm disappointed with what religion looks like, and I'm more interested in the person of Jesus. So right now I've got this dissonance with myself, with people who say they're Christians, and I myself being a Jesus follower and really dealing with what it looks like to be in a relationship with them. And if I tell the whole truth, I'm just not interested. I'm just not interested. It's like really, really underwhelming, disappointing, and flat out hurtful. I don't understand why. I really don't, but it is. That's my experience. So tell your whole story. And one of the things I'm grappling with right now is that inside of telling my story, how do I show up authentically and be completely honest and tell the truth for my experience and leave people intact in their journeys and in their experiences, knowing that the God who created me and loves me and is working in me is also working in them, and that he sees all things and that he knows all things, and that nothing has escaped him. And that in my codependent state, whether it's an individual or an entity, I don't have to try to go out and vindicate myself or somehow become the poster child of trying to fix all things. That codependency sick twist inside of religion, especially for me inside of Christianity, is absolutely toxic and harmful. And so, I'm struggling this season. I'm just struggling. Um, I'm excited about what I have to share. I'm excited about sharing it. Just not excited about dealing with anybody's feedback or worrying about what anybody else has to say, because people will always have something to say. And here's what's funny. Usually the people who have something to say are also not going to put themselves on Front Street. They're also not going to roll authentic. They're also not going to roll transparent. They're not going to roll open. They're going to roll with whatever they're trying to cover up. And somehow, in showing up and being transparent, authentic, and vulnerable, I just want to give people permission to do the same thing. That you don't have to pretend to have it together. That you don't have to fake that you got this when you know you don't got this. You don't got this. So for me, I'm excited and I'm weirded out. So the excitement had me reach out to all kinds of people in all kinds of my spheres of being social or business or professional or whatever it is. Just saying, hey, this is what I'm sharing. I'd love for you to come and support. This is just me sharing my life. So I debated whether or not I would actually share my 12-step story here on YouTube, or at least via this video to capture it for my blog. But generally speaking, inside of my video blog, anything that I have written down, I'm not going to rehash on the screen. That's not the point of this video blog. But everything I'm saying about this right now is not captured in writing. And I kind of want my facial expression, because this is a space of, I don't know, being aware of hurt, being aware that some people might be hurt by what I communicate. Ultimately, the intention is that my story creates a safe space for people to show up authentically, and an intense amount of discomfort for those who find that what I have to say shines too bright for them to actually deal with. So I'm interested to see how this unfolds. So It's been full on battle and warfare, dealing with myself coming up on these 2 weeks. I've noticed it happen before. This would happen with my mom and dad all the time. They would be preparing for a marriage conference that would come in town that they were going to host or be part of. And literally the week of the marriage conference, like all the things that would go wrong in their marriage would just be like way crazy. Like the experience of the house, they'd suddenly the intensity of the arguing would increase and it would just be weird. You're just like, okay, yeah, battle and warfare, like the very thing you're out to do, you just feel like all the resistance of all the craziness comes at you. That is literally happening to me right now. I mean, I think the video I posted just before this one was something I'm going to look at later and be like, you were not quite with it, but whatever. This video, straight up battle. This season of life, straight up a fight. You know, I don't get that the resistance I'm dealing with is that of, oh, please hide, cower in the corner and don't show up. But rather in showing up, what gets uncovered or expressed so that something else becomes available? What shows up so that in me sharing out loud, someone gets permission to say out loud for themselves? I don't know. Anyone stumbling across this video, I mean, you'd have to stumble hard because I am not trying to reach anybody. For those of you who have subscribed, thank you. But this is not the like, subscribe, click the bell YouTube channel. In fact, don't. Don't subscribe, don't like it, and don't click the bell. If this is valuable to you, then take the value and run with it. But mostly, I'm just trying to be responsible for showing up on the page of the life that God has given me and living it completely. And I don't know what is available, but I am willing to give willfulness, stubbornness, and disobedience a run for its money. Putting myself up on the mat and not hiding out. You know, the first chapter of Dr. Lois Evans' books, I got distracted. I was going to say this earlier. But in the first chapter of her book, which I'm still in the first chapter, I haven't gotten past it because she asks a very pointed question about telling your story and do you know who you are when your gifting is? And I feel like since I read that first chapter almost 4 weeks ago, I've been living out the first chapter of like grappling with what does that mean for me? The Abba let me know straight up. Do not answer the questions in that book like you're just trying to complete an assignment. Be in the fullness, be in the fullest expression of what it means for you to answer those questions. So it's no surprise to me that I am at 3 different jobs and 2 opportunities, exploring my gift and my talent. How is it expressed? I was approached at the open house event that I attended by a young man that I used to babysit, go figure, who's got a media company and was like, hey, we're looking for voiceover talent and we keep being approached by white males. Not white and not male, totally female, totally black. So, you know, just it's interesting. I am in the ebb and flow of the experience of that chapter. And Dr. Lois Evans literally said in that chapter, don't be willful. I closed the book. I closed the book. Don't be willful. Did you know my name is Deborah-Naomi Thomas? Born 4th child, middle child, attention seeking, doing all the things and being stubborn and willful and disobedient because sometimes that gets attention. I'm just saying to say don't be willful. I closed that book and told my Heavenly Father, that book is not for me, as I've lived out the book for the last 4 weeks. Yeah. So the adventure is, what does it mean to partner with God and be on this journey? What risks am I willing to take? I feel like Frodo. Why has the ring come to me? Why not you? So, here's to taking on telling my story, dealing with the resistance of what it means to show up authentically and being vulnerable and transparent, regardless of who's looking, and know that there are critics out there, people who are going to make a judgment call. But guess what? They're a dime a dozen. They're always doing that. Always. So I'm not going to live myself in the shadows. And when it comes to this codependency, someone needs to hear this, so I'm going to say it. Codependency is a terrorist. It is out to literally destroy you. It is not going to march in straight lines. It is not going to be easy to find. You are going to have to skill up and warrior that discipline it takes to deal with that relational dysfunction. Battle strategies, seriously. Boundaries. It's a great book, but boundaries. It makes a difference. The expression and gift that you are to show up in the world. And I'm going to look at this later and remember that I said this to myself in a room by myself, because I think I just needed to hear that. So here's to getting back up to speed, posting, being in my life, right on the middle of the page, and showing up for the miraculous. I am excited and I anticipate that something good, something really good is about to happen. So I will press on and press in and show up for my life. All right, I'll catch y'all later. Bye.